Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Hoop Talk Nas, and I'm joined here today by Hoop Talk Tyler, two-thirds of the Hoop Talk podcast. You can see already as you're here tuned in, this is our Atleta Gaming channel. We appreciate y'all for following us early on and helping us through this journey. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new. Leave a comment section letting us know that you're stopping by for the first time, or leave a comment letting us know that you're a recurring return viewer. We love it. Either way, we're going to get right to it today. We're not playing any games. We are actually going to be doing our very own Marvel Rivals tier list, ladies and gentlemen. We have all heroes listed. We have slightly debated a little bit of what we're going to be looking here, what we're looking for, and what we're going to, or how we're going to do it. So we hope that this doesn't last forever, but, I tend to be stubborn sometimes, so we'll see how this goes. We're going to be ranking, or not ranking, but adding to a tier S, A, B, C, and D, I believe, is the lowest this one goes. I don't think an F is necessary since there's already an S tier. I think D is pretty much just the F tier.
Along with that, every character that we have on here, even if they're D, they're still playable. Like every character is still
Yeah,
good. It's just like you need to be pretty good to be good.
exactly. I think very lowly of Black Widow, but a good player that knows how to use Black Widow can fuck me up. That's for damn sure.
It's
So
gonna terrorize the lobby. Terrorize.
yeah, but that's just me personally. I don't see much value in having a Black Widow on your team, but we'll get into that. We're gonna rate these heroes as they are listed. So we're gonna go ahead and switch over to our screen so everybody can see what we have. Press the wrong button. There we go. I don't know if Tyler's able to see it. I know Tyler mentioned it looks a little blurry on his end
I
sometimes.
have the tier list up.
Okay,
I'm
even
gonna
better.
copy everything you do.
So all the heroes appear to be listed in alphabetical order, so we will do it that way. We will go off alphabetical order here, with the first person on the list being Adam Warlock. Where do you have Adam Warlock listed?
I would say Adam this season is so much better than he's ever been. His soul bond is, one of the strongest abilities in the game. It's realistically another alt. He is a very strong offensive character as well with his hit scan. I'd put him high A, and
I
I
don't
think you
have
could argue S.
him divided between high or low, anything like that. But yeah, I am willing to go A here. I originally had him B. Um, my biggest concern with Adam Warlock is that support's primary, not their sole purpose, but their primary purpose is to heal, and his healing can be inconsistent, even more than Mantis, and that's saying a lot considering we have a lot of complaints about Mantis. I think the healing not being something that he can repeat over and over again is pretty annoying because that is kind of the biggest role a support is supposed to have. His Soul Link has a very large cooldown as well, so using it is great in the moments where it's needed and where it can really save lives. But again, it's just not something that you can see consistently. Um, and his revival, we know that can just be hit or miss. It takes some really smart players to understand when and where to use that. And I haven't encountered a lot of those. So that's why I personally
Yeah,
put him
we're
at B.
we're assuming at their peak though, at their
Yeah,
peak performance.
at their peak, that is correct. I think it's still all the same to me though. At their peak performance, the healing is still inconsistent. The Soul Link is still a very large cooldown, and the revival, it's very difficult to hide that. You know what I mean? Like if if everybody in the lobby is a great player, you are aware that this revival can come at any moment. So there's people that are going to be saving their ults or just have abilities in general that they can use in that moment. You know what I mean? Like if you know that thing is coming, there's nothing stopping Star Lord from popping up, hitting L1, and popping y'all again. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping.
But keep in
Uh,
mind, even if that does happen, Adam, as long as Adam dies there, he just revives himself, and it keeps going. It just they keep getting revived.
That's true, but it's not that long period. Like they're not gonna revive forever. Like it's not. To me, the value is just not as much as it can be, um, because of his damage. I think is what
Keep going.
boosts him
My
up
phone
the
just got
most.
unplugged, but you can keep going. I'll just send this
Because
back
of
up.
his damage, is what boosts him the most. It's just out of my support, that's not what I want your best skill to be. That's just how I view it. And I think we can agree that he's probably best in a triple support lineup, which I think kind of fuels my point. If other supports are needed in order for Adam to be at his most effective, I don't know. That's B to me. I'm willing to go A if I'm not able to convince you, but I implore you to consider my points here. You know what I mean?
I don't think his healing is bad as we're saying it though. And sorry, 1 second.
It
Can
isn't
you
that
see me
good.
now?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not even looking. I'm looking at the thing. Yeah, I can see you.
I don't think it's as bad as we're saying it though. I've never been in a game where Adam's healing was the problem. I've been in a game where Adam plus another healer was bad. But if you have Adam plus another defensive vault, he's great.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, that's another stipulation again. You need another defensive vault. So it's like it it
But
puts
we're
him.
always going to have one usually. How many games have we had where we have not had at least one defensive vault?
But that's what I'm saying. He needs to have it to be able to impact the game, which I think works against him. That's just my view.
But
Um,
that's how I meant A. So to me, Adam is not just a healer. Adam is not just support. He's in the name. He's a strategist. He's a good healer, and he's even better at damage. And he has a revivability ability. Um, if we add more onto this, he makes Mantis really broken, and he makes Starlord really broken as well. And we do see both those more common. They're both able to revive themselves now. So I don't know. I think he's S. I really do believe he's S. But I'm
I think
going A.
I think best case scenario we can meet in the middle at A. So we can put him at A, but there's no way I could ever be convinced that he's S. Um, Next up we got Black
I think
Panther.
he's very, very good though.
Next up we got Black Panther.
Right.
I ranked Black Panther at. Let's see where I put him at B tier.
Yeah, I'd say B. He's like really great, but if your supports have their cooldowns, like let's say for example, if your supports are Adam, you're not gonna kill him. He's just not gonna die because the soul bond is gonna keep him alive. If it's Cloak and Dagger, she's gonna disappear. If it's Sue, she's gonna disappear. If it's Luna, she's gonna ice you, and she has too much health for you to kill her anyway. Like he's great at lower levels, at lower elos, but like even us, we're only at diamond. I don't even see him, and when I do see him, he's not that great.
Yeah, I think when it comes to his main role as a diver, he's not anywhere near the other divers at their peak. He's nothing like Magic, that's for sure. He's nothing like Psylocke. I don't even think he's better than Spider Man. So I think that just automatically puts him B or lower. But B to me is pretty solid.
Yeah,
Um,
he
Black
just he has
Widow.
good abilities.
Yeah, he does. Super fast, impossible to see, impossible to hit. But Black Widow is next up. I have Black Widow listed at D tier. I don't think much of Black Widow at all.
Oh, I have her at C. She's she's not great, but I don't think this season she's worse than Moon Knight anymore.
I would rather have a Moon Knight. We'll definitely get to that here in a second. I would rather have a Moon Knight than a Black Widow. I think she is just one of the easiest characters to dive on, just because it takes so much for her to hit you, and hitting you is not actually easier close up for her. It really isn't, because you kind of see it coming. And most divers are fast enough, you know what I mean, to really avoid those one shots at a time. Um, it's just that's all she really has. You know, she can kick you and push you away. Great, I'm gonna just come back. She can sprint. You know, cool. It's just like that's all she has is a shot, and that's pretty much it. If you're gonna
But
go,
that kickback does help. That kickback stops you from being able to dive on her. She's an undiveable DPS.
no, it
You
doesn't
will not
stop you.
you
It
you
slows you
don't see
down.
her getting dove.
It doesn't stop you. It slows you down, and you 100% see her getting dove. She's one of the first people that's gonna get dove on. If there's a diver on the team, that's one of your first priorities. Get her out of the equation. If she's good, if she's bad,
I'll
then
put her
just
in
let her
D.
live.
I'll revisit this. I want to see who else we have in D. I think she's C. I've never been in a game where I've seen a Black Widow get dove because
I
her
don't know
her
what we mean by
ability
dove. Like to me,
to
dove is just if we have a diver, go target Black Widow. If she's good, if she's not,
that's what I'm saying. I
if
don't
she
I don't see that successfully.
if she's not good, then just let her do whatever she's doing. She's probably not impacting the game anyway. But if she's a good Black Widow, yeah, we got to get her out of the equation early, or else we're not going to be able to do anything.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If she's good and we can't do anything, I don't think D is enough. I'm not saying she's B, A, or S. I'm just saying like she has enough in her kit to not be considered one of the worst characters in the game anymore. Her ult is actually pretty good now. It does kill squishies. It slows down your entire team, which does help. It adds beneficial damage to you. Um, she does almost enough damage to two tap everybody from any hit. Like I don't know. I can accept D, but I want to revisit it then.
I put her at D because she's the hero that I want the least of, along with this other person that I have in D. But we'll get to him eventually. Um,
I got two people there. I can tell you right now.
yeah, I have two people there as well. Um, then we
Three,
got
I guess.
our buddy Bruce Banner, who is ordered by his human form. So Bruce Banner to me is press the wrong button again. Where is it? Where is it? Where'd it go? I put Bruce at A because his team up with Strange and what you call it, Iron Man is not as needed as it used to be. Still great, regardless. I still believe it is great and definitely a bonus to have, but not needed like it used to be. Well, I mean, it was never needed because Strange was always just an elite character, regardless. But you get what I mean. Like, it made a gigantic difference. I think the difference is a little different now. That was redundant, but you get what I mean. He's still one of the best diving tanks in the game. He is still very hard to take down, and he has a lot of team chemistry with his ability to give his team shields, his ability to freeze and help his teammates get away from a sticky situation. Um, I just believe he's either A or S. I am okay with S as well, but I personally I think A.
Yeah, I would say I kind of teeter between the two, S and A. He's outside of the two shielded tanks, Magneto and Strange. I would say he's the best tank in the game, along with the Thing. His ability to create space, his ability to protect his teammates with the shield. He has a range ability. He can knock flyers out of the air. His ultimate lets him stay alive even longer. I, but he is not as good as Magneto or Strange, so I don't think it's fair to put him as S. So I would put him as A.
Yeah, that was essentially my thought process too to finalize it. Then we got Captain America. You can go first this time.
Bro, I used to think he was so bad before, but if you go against a Cap, he is so oppressive. It is so annoying to deal with a good Cap. And I don't know if he's just easier to use now, or he's just better because of the buffs. I would say he's cleanly a B tier. He will absolutely ruin your supports if they don't know how to handle him.
You said B.
B.
Yeah, I
B
also
is a
have
boy.
him. I also have him. I also have him in B as well. Yeah, same reason. I think a good Captain America can be a game changer, but personally, I think I rank him as low as B because I just don't think Cap is the diving tank I want. But he is nice to have, if that makes sense. If we're gonna go a diving tank, I'd much rather have a Venom and I'd much rather have a Hulk. Um, I'd even I'd even be comfortable with the Thing playing a half dive, half frontline role because he can get it done too. So that's why
Kind of
I'll
like the
put him at
Hulk.
B. Yeah, pretty much like the Hulk.
Yeah,
So that's why I
just
will put him at
jump
B
in and out.
personally because I'd rather have somebody else. Then we have Cloak and Dagger. You can go first on this one too.
And I think this is where the controversy is going to begin. I don't think Cloak is as good of a DPS anymore. Or a support. Sorry, I think she's still great. but I think the other DPSs, even Mantis, are now cleanly above her. Um, and a lot of the times when I see her played, I see that cloak form played even more. So it kind of sours me. So I want to rank her lower than when I'm ranking her. But realistically, I think with her kit right now, with all the abilities you really can lay down and look at her, I think that cloak is now a B tier. Her
Oh no, I
healing
disagree.
numbers are not as great outside of her ult. They are absolutely not. You cannot survive in her bubble anymore. I don't know how you could justify putting her above B when you most likely have Mantis there, and she's not better than Mantis.
She's not better than Mantis. So I do think characters in characters in one tier can be better than other characters in that same tier. It's just they fit in that same tier. It's just one character can still be better than the other. Um, but yeah, I think she's A tier. I think regardless of any of the differences that they made with her, she's still a phenomenal healer to have. I think she's the fourth best healer in the game. Um, Possibly
I
third when
agree
it
with
comes
that.
to just heals, individual heals. I'd probably put her third. I think she heals better than Mantis because of Mantis's restrictions, but just Mantis does so many other things. But so as a support, she's the fourth best support in the game right now, um, with arguments that she could be the third. But I think her kit is probably the largest kit in the game because of her switch to cloak and dagger, right? So she has offensive tools that can really make a difference. She has the defensive tools that can really make a difference. Her shroud ability can completely save your team from so many things. It can save you from a strange ult. It can save you from a Iron Man, from a what's his face? I forget his name. Magneto. It could save you from Bucky. You know what I mean? It could save you from so many ultimates if you know what you're doing. Um, Her shadow thing is a big game changer. It creates a damage boost ability, which also helps you take people down and helps your team take people down. Blinding by itself is already a bonus. I myself have trouble with that. It's very annoying to be blinded by cloak and dagger, especially from a distance, but we won't get into too much detail. Her healing is extremely versatile. She can heal anybody around her. She heals herself when she's close up, which gives her the benefit of being able to switch. I think her kit is so large and so versatile. It's to me it's impossible not to be A, regardless of her healing being less. She is still one of the best characters in the game.
But everything you've named, the other supports have a better kit. You look at Sue; she has her shield
Yeah,
that
they're
she
all
can put
better.
on anybody. That
Yeah,
stops any ult.
yeah, they're all better.
That's what, but that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that she's a bad character, but I'm saying when you look at the tiers, when it looks at support, she is the third tier. The number one tier, without a doubt to me, very cleanly is Sue, it's Luna, and then it is Loki. Without a doubt. I have no doubt that those are the S tier supports. Following that is Mantis, and then after that is Cloak.
No,
There's
I think
there's a gap.
I don't think Mantis is that much greater than Cloak. I think Cloak is still an A tier support. Just like Luna, Loki, and Sue can be considered S tier, they're not all equivalent. Luna is very clearly better than Loki and Sue. Like she has consistently been the best support in the game since the game
Oh no
came
no,
out.
I think Loki's the number one support in the game.
No, Luna to me is the best support in the game. Regardless of what you think is the number one, regardless you can establish that there is a number one. That means that person is better than the others. So it proves my point that you can be in the same tier and be better than the other. So Mantis and
No
I
no,
don't want
I
to get
get
ahead of
that.
myself. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but yes, I have Mantis and A tier, and I do believe she is better than Cloak and Dagger. But I believe Cloak and Dagger is still A tier. If we're gonna do it high and low, then I consider Cloak a low A tier. That's how I would look at it.
I don't view her as the same tier as Mantis is what I'm getting at. Sue, Luna, Loki, they all do something that's going to help your team. Luna's ability to give you the ice so that you can constantly be healed whenever you're not with her. You get additional healing. That's fantastic. Loki has runes that he can throw down. He has cloning. He has invisibility. That's fantastic. Sue, I've already talked about everything she has. Those are on the same tier, but they're better than each other. Cloak is noticeably worse to me than Mantis now. She to me, I feel like she's worse when I do get the opportunity to play her because I don't play support too much. I will say that I feel like she's worse when I have a Cloak on my team versus Mantis. We perform worse. Her healing numbers are overall worse. Her damage is worse. Her team ability to boost her other members are worse. if we look at the kits, it gets even worse because Mantis has the ability to revive herself now because of the Atom or the Star Lord team ups. Like Cloak
She's always
is
had
B
that.
tier to me.
That's not
Well, I
new.
mean, I always, but it's used a lot more prevalently because people use Atom and Star Lord now. So I see it way too often. Cloak to me is just worse than those four above her, like noticeably. And
Yeah.
I can't put Mantis in A tier, but I don't think she's the same tier as Mantis.
I mean, we're how do we come up to a consensus here? At the end of the day, I don't think
I
any
moved
of the
Black Widow
changes.
down, and I don't think Black Widow should have been moved.
I use cloak and dagger as my support, and I win more using her than I do with using any other support. So I don't see the
The
differences
numbers are the
that
same with Mantis, so
huh.
remember I looked it up. The
Yeah,
numbers are the same with Mantis.
that was before. I'm talking about this season with these changes that everybody's been complaining about. I find more success playing Cloak and Dagger than any other support, and to me, it's like I think people need to adjust how their play style because I was complaining about the same thing recently too, and all I did was just real try to pay attention to what am I doing differently. And once I started adjusting to that, I'm back to the same numbers I used to get with her. I'm still able to get 20, 25K with her. I was never a 30K healer myself. I'm just not that good of a support, but I could always range between 20 and 25K. And there was a period of time where I wasn't getting to that number, unfortunately. But I figured out what I was doing wrong or differently, and I was able to adjust what I did to get to that point. I think her kit is amazing, and she does so many different things that can help your team and makes your team better. She can boost the healing
But
that
you haven't
she's
given
doing.
Mantis the opportunity to stay the same though. You've only played Cloak and Invisible Woman. You haven't
No,
played
I think
Mantis.
Mantis is great. I think Mantis is better than Cloak. I'm still okay with that. I don't mind that at all. That's fine. I'm just saying I don't believe Cloak has dropped that enough to be a B tier. That's just me. I don't think she's changed enough. I think she is still extremely useful, and like her healing is so versatile. She can heal everybody that she sees around her. She can do the boost to heal even more. She can literally put a bubble to heal even more. It's just so many options to heal. Like regardless of the debuffs or whatever they're called, it's to me it's they weren't significant enough to say that she's a bad character now or a worse character, I guess you could say.
I don't think I could justify putting her A tier. I don't think I could. And I think it's fair. I gave you the Black Widow one.
I mean, I guess
It's
if we're
only
not gonna
one
be able
tier
to come
down.
to a consensus, then I guess that's why I was telling you we have to find a way to even it out here. But whatever, I guess if she's gonna be
But
B tier, then
I
she's gonna
am
be B
though, and
tier.
you're you're not. We're both not coming to agreement, but we both feel strongly. She is better than she's better than some of the other sports below her. It's not many, but I do think that she's better than Jeff, without a doubt. And I
That's
think
not
she's
saying
on
much.
par with Rocket. But I think that she's on par with Rocket. I don't think that she's better than Rocket though.
I do not think she's on par with Rocket at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Oh, I do.
Not
Rocket's
even a little bit.
survivability is king. I Rocket is the best surviving healing support in the game.
And that's great, but that he does not do enough for me. I don't think he's on par at all. But next up we have Doctor Strange. Um,
I mean, this one's easy. I think
yeah, I think we can agree he is S tier. I hope. I really hope.
his nerf did not really it impacted him. Don't get me wrong, but did it?
Yeah, barely. Um, then we have Groot. I think Groot is an A tier tank.
I think he's one of the most annoying tanks to go against. I think he's one of the he's the one of the few characters in the game where you have to completely change your game plan when you're going against him. So I agree. Like you cannot have supports that play back against a group because then your tanks are gonna die.
I think the only bad thing about Groot, I mean, multiple things, but the worst thing about Groot is that he is one of the most annoying tanks to go up against. He is also one of the most annoying tanks to play with as well, because those walls can
Yep.
be placed just in the most inconvenient and awkward places possible, to the point where it even impacts your team negatively. And I've seen that a lot, which I think it's debatable, but he might be the only hero in the game that you can say that about. That one of his abilities can actually impact your own team negatively sometimes. Now, a good Groot should be more mindful of that, but it's not easy. Even the best Groots in the world, it's not easy to just have a wall placed in a position that impacts you negatively somehow. You know what I mean? People can't heal through it. People can't attack through it.
Bro, it's so easy. All you have to do is look back real quick and hit circle. People just forget to do that. Just retrieve your wall. Pick it up.
Yeah, but it's a lot going on. Looking back for a second is not as simple as it may seem, especially when you're in the heat of the
Maybe I just
moment.
built different.
Yeah, in the middle of a fight, it's not simple at all because all it takes is one look away to get hit that one time that completely alters your ability to stay alive in that fight. So, um,
I'd
yeah,
say he's
I
great
have
though.
him A tier.
And if we talk about his kit, it's even crazier. His ability to wipe teams. If you have a Namor, if you have a Moon Knight, if you have a Bucky, if you have so many people on this team, if you have a Thor, and Groot has his ult, they're dead. Everybody on your team is dead.
All right, next up we have Hawkeye. I put Hawkeye in
I
A tier.
I don't know about him. The changes, I don't get one hit by him anymore very often. Um, and his ability to survive is not that great. I would say that he's a B tier character now. Like what in his kit makes him A other than his ability to one hit 250 health players if he aims perfectly.
I mean that by itself is important. He he's a much superior what you call it sniper than Black Widow by a mile. I do think his survivability is good. I think his ability to knock you back and his ability to double jump out of a situation, as well as his ability to use his sonic boom to put you in a situation where you're going to have to retreat. I think he's good, and I think just the overall ability to just stand by and just hit people at a much easier rate to me is impactful. The damage that he does with just one shot of an arrow is a huge game changer, and I do believe he is easier to hit with than any other sniper in the game, um, aside from Hela, who we'll get to eventually. But actually, she's next. But
We'll actually get to next.
yeah, I have
I
Hawkeye in A tier because I don't think I think he used to be an S tier, and with some of the changes that were made, I think it just lowered him to A tier. I still think he's elite, and a good Hawkeye is going to completely control the game, and he's not as easy to take out as other snipers in the game.
When I was playing Moon Knight, I used to love seeing a Hawkeye on the team. If I saw a Hawkeye, I knew that I was gonna have a good game because I knew at any moment I'd be able to throw my Ankh down, and that's a guaranteed kill. I we could put him S tier or A tier. I disagree, like wholeheartedly, but this is not one that I'm gonna argue too much about. I don't think he has anything in his kit to make him A tier. I think he is much better than Black Widow with worse survivability.
He doesn't have
And
worse
that's why I think he's
survivability than
B
Black
tier.
Widow. He does not have worse
Oh,
survivability
he
than Black Widow.
absolutely does.
He can double jump and he does the
Hawkeye only
same
gets one
knockback.
kick. No, he only gets one kick. Black Widow gets two, and the second one stuns you permanently. Not permanently, but it stuns you fully. Enough to where you can do damage. It gives you the same stun that Mantis has.
No, I think his survivability is much better than Black Widow, and that's me trying both of them out to test it out. I can escape a situation if I need to. I can also fight back much easier with him than I can with a Black Widow. Plus, I don't even like her
I don't know
scripting.
about that. Black Widow has the strongest melee in the game. Or the second after Moon Knight.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna melee with Black Widow against somebody who's diving on you, then I mean, sure, good luck with that. But I genuinely believe Hawkeye is a much better survivalist than her. Um, but then we have Hela. I have Hela as
I hate her, bro. I hate, yeah, me too. I hate this character so much. She's not fun to play against at all.
She's not fun to dive on either.
She's
Because
not fun to do anything.
she hits you one time and you're like, fuck, can I even make it through this fight? Like, should I even keep going or should I just go get a
And then
health
she
pack?
hits an L2 and then you're dead now by the time you get back to your team.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have her S tier pretty solid, pretty easy. Um,
I hate her,
excuse
bro.
me.
I hate her so much. Bless you.
I have Iron Fist next. I have Iron Fist. Keep bringing this down for some reason. Where did I put Iron Fist?
I have him C.
I have him C as well. So great, unanimous decision.
I think he's better than last season because now he actually has a legitimate use. He's very good against tanks. He's like a brawler, kind of similar to Magic more than Wolverine because you're not picking people up, but like now you can't dive on supports at all because he doesn't do the damage to kill them. And then I would rather have Magic if I had to pick between the two anyway. So where does he
Yeah,
fit in?
he's not even better than Black Panther. So if Black Panther's B, he's not even close to Black Panther to me. So if that's the case, then he shouldn't be. Um,
I'd
anywhere
argue
above
he's
C.
D actually. Now that I think about it,
No, I don't think he's D. I still think he is very good. Not very good. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but I still think he's good, which is enough to put him in D.
fair.
Um, then we have Iron Man. I have Iron Man in B tier.
I also have him B.
Beautiful. Let's get through these
That
that we
one's
can
pretty
agree on
easy.
quickly. Then we
That
have
one's
Jeff.
easy.
Jeff is the support that I want to see the least. I think he is the worst support in the game. I think his ultimate is far too situational, which I hate. I think higher level players are far better at keeping away from his ultimate and dodging it or doing something to stay away from it. We play diamond and below, so we don't see those players with the mentality to get the hell out the way. Um, so it seems as though Jeff's ultimate is all that great, but like it's very situational. Like it's very hit or miss. Ultimates should just never be hit or miss. And there's never a situation where I want to see a support that's being used as a DPS. That's just not what I want. That's not what I want at all.
Jeff is the exception because his survivability makes things very, very hard for the team. He's
It's not
stronger
what
than
I want at
Divers.
all.
I know you don't agree, but Nas, he is. Like statistically, he is.
It's
I
not
don't
what I
think
want at
he's
all.
a high tier, but I'm saying to me, he's a C tier player. As a support, where his role is healing, like as a second support, he's D. If he's a third support, he's C, which is not much better, but C.
No, he's a D to me. That's where I have him. He's a
But
strategist and he
you're
cannot do
playing him wrong.
he is a strategist and he cannot be used as a strategist at his peak. So that doesn't make sense.
What? How is he not though? Strategist is not a healer. Strategist is a strategist.
A
You're
strategist's
strategizing.
primary role is to heal. That's the first thing you're supposed to do. So heal and help your team survive. I'll put it that way. Help your team survive is the smartest way to explain it.
And do damage and help
your
your team
primary
get kills.
your
and
primary
boost
role
damage.
is to help your team survive. Your primary role. Everything comes second. Your
But
primary
that's where
role
your
is to help
thinking
your
is
team
flawed,
survive.
though. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right. So if you're a
Your thinking is
strategist
flawed
and
then.
you are flawed at your primary role, you cannot
No.
be anything above.
I'm saying your thinking is flawed if you think that. No game has a strategist as their only role is healing. That's
I did
why
not say
Rocket
that. I
is
didn't say that though. I didn't say
no,
that.
no, no. Primary role. Sorry, primary.
Every support in the game, the primary role is healing. The primary role, the first thing they're supposed to pay attention to is everybody healed. That is the first thing they need to pay attention to. Because if you're trying to do damage while your tank is about to die, your tank dies. Whoop de doo, you got some damage. Maybe you got a kill. You're gonna lose that team fight because your tank is dead now.
And that's what the two other supports are for. The third DPS is sitting around in your backline, stopping the other supports from being able to heal their tank, stopping their DPS from being able to do damage, causing a ruckus, building their ult, and then making them scatter every time. I don't know how you don't see the value from that. You love Thor. You know how much space that creates? Like, if you love Thor so much, you should be able to understand that that's creating immense amounts of space.
If
That's
you need
creating more space than Psylocke.
if you need two others to be good, then how are you good at your role? That doesn't make sense to me. It's illogical. If you
It's
have
the
to be
same
the
thing as a
third,
second DPS. It's the
no,
same
it's
thing.
not. Running two
What's
DPS
different?
is a natural thing. That's the most common way to play the game. It's 2-2-2. So if you need to run three support to be able to make this guy, it's the same thing that I have with Adam. If you have to run two other supports, it's because you are not good as a strategist. So we have to use you differently. So if you're not good at the role that you were designed to play, then I don't believe that you should be high up at all.
But he's being a strategist. That's the ultimate strategy we're referring to right now. We are referring to strategy.
That's just a name, though. Everybody in the game has to play some sort of strategy to help your team win. Like that's not.
That's
That's just a
because we
name.
haven't had any healers that don't primarily heal yet, and I guarantee you that we will. But I'm telling you, there's no world where I could say that Jeff is on the same tier as Black Widow. There's no world.
You just did. You said she was C, and you barred down to D. You just said she was C, and now you have Jeff in C too.
No, Jeff would have been B for me. That's my original plan. Jeff and Cloak and Rocket
Golly,
on the same tier.
golly,
I'm bringing it down for
golly.
you. I think you don't deal with it because you're a tank primarily. You don't get to see how annoying it is to go against a Jeff that is just shooting at you, dropping under, throwing a couple bubbles for himself, climbing on the wall, shooting at you again, jumping back onto the ground, going to your DPS, shooting them. It's some of the most oppressive gameplay ever. I'm not saying he's good, but he's not the worst three characters in the game. Maybe he's the worst five, just not the worst three.
Well, then C it is, I guess. Then we have Loki next. Um, I have Loki A tier. I mean S tier.
I think he's the best support in the game. Only he has another support ult with his runes, and then also the ability to turn into any ult he actually wants to. So if you have enough support ults, if you need damage, he could turn into Magneto. He could turn into Psylocke. He could turn into Bucky. I think it's kind of broken. I think he's really, really good. I think he's going to get nerfed next season. I think he's going to get nerfed big time. Also, he's the fastest support ult in the game right now.
Yeah, I think he's a phenomenal. I think he can do a little bit of everything. I think being able to copy any ultimate in the game makes him extremely useful. I think his damage output is outrageous. I think his defensive abilities are crazy. His escapability, his survival ability is outrageous. I think he is an A plus in every category in the game. I really do believe that. Um, and his goddamn L1 is an ultimate by
He
itself,
could be
which
an
is
S
outrageous
tier
to
and
me.
everything.
Yeah, I
Now
think
that I think
he's
about it,
phenomenal.
he does a lot of damage too. You can't dive on him.
Yeah, that's what I just said. His damage is outrageous as well because of the clones just
Yeah.
shooting at you. And a good Loki user understands how to place their clones properly. Not to mention to always keep a clone in the back pocket to be able to get the hell out of a situation quickly. Um,
He, he's borderline broken, bro. He's annoying.
yeah, he's amazing. I still think Luna is the better support, but she's up next. I also have her in S tier, which I really hope this is not somewhere we disagree.
Yeah. I
Thank God.
I think a lot of the reason that Loki is S tier is because Luna's an S tier. A lot of times you'll see Loki copy Luna. Luna, her whole kit is just really, really good. It helps every possible situation, and she's one of the few tanks or one of the few supports that can't be successfully dove on because she has 275 HP, and a lot of her moves heal herself. So I mean, she's fantastic, and that ice that she can give to other people, and she's quick as hell if she dies. She's great.
Yeah, and her freeze stun lasts forever. So if she really just wants to get away, she can freeze you and just run away, which is ideal. Or she can freeze you and try to headshot you and take you out. Either way, it just works out in her favor. But yeah, then
Yeah,
I have Magic. I also have Magic in S tier.
I think Magic is arguably the best DPS in the game. There's not many situations where Magic is not good at. It literally requires the thing. That's the only situation.
Yeah, I think
Flyers,
everybody.
she can kill you.
Yeah, I think everybody in S tier is damn near usable in any composition possible. An entire composition of S tier heroes has to be just outrageous to go up against, if they're good players, of course. Um,
You could do it too. You could do a 2-2-2 very easily, and it'd be
yeah,
pretty annoying.
easily, no issues at all. Then we got Magneto, another one that I also again have an S tier.
I think anybody with a shield. And also, he is really great. And for everything that Strange is good at, Magneto has an opposite that he's even better at.
Yeah, Magneto's kit is so simple yet so useful. His ability to just three shot a DPS in front of him is just so broken. and it just takes two buttons being pressed 3 times. You know what I mean? It's outrageous. I think his ability to bubble himself and still attack at the same time is super broken. I think his ability to bubble a teammate and completely save them out of any situation, golly. And then,
That's the craziest one to me, bro. That.
yeah, that's the craziest thing to me, bro. And then his ability to use a shield that is not as great as Strange's shield, because of course that thing has 800 health. It's the best shield I've ever seen. But his shield is phenomenal. It still blocks Wanda. It does take a lot more effort to help your teammates survive because they kind of have to get really close and like directly behind you. But you know, if they're smart enough, they understand to do that. Um, and the Wanda buff that he gets is just crazy. It's unfair. Like to get hit by a Magneto from the other side of the fucking map just because there's a Wanda flying around, that's so unfair to me. That is so unfair. And it does more damage than his regular attack. Not only does it do more damage, it hits you from anywhere he is. And it's the craziest thing to me. I use Magneto on my one trick account, as y'all know, whoever's been following us throughout that journey. And let me tell you, man, he is fun. I've gotten better and better every day.
He's amazing, bro. If you have to solo tank, I'd say he's the best solo tank because of his ability to give other people the shield.
And we have Mantis. I have Mantis in A tier.
Yep. I still think that she's very good. Um, I wish that she had one more leaf, like she previously had a while ago. But outside of that, I mean, all you have to do is hit a headshot, and she gets a leaf right back. Her damage is ridiculous. She's arguably the same style of support as of Adam. Very strong DPS. I don't know. She's great. Very few weaknesses.
Then we have Moon Knight. I originally had him higher, but I would be willing to bring him down. Not willing, but I am going to bring him down to C on my list.
I love Moon Knight, but Moon Knight is
C is okay.
He's only good for very specific circumstances where you need to kill supports, or if they have no shields as their tanks. Like if I see a lineup of the Thing Groot, I'm gonna feast because I'm gonna build my support very quickly, and then I'm gonna melt their tanks. But then my support is not, or my ult is not as good as it used to be either. Unfortunately, my ult is noticeably worse. I realize I do not catch people off guard anywhere near as much. I'd say C.
Yeah, I had him in B just because of his ability to do so much damage and charge his ult so fast. But yeah, C is more like it. Namor, I have in A tier.
So we talked about this, and I do want to do another video where we assume every one of them have their ideal team ups. Namor with a Luna to me is one of the best DPS in the game. Namor without a Luna is undoubtedly A. He is still really, really good. He does a lot of damage. He's able to protect your supports. He's able to peel very well. I don't know. He does everything you could look for. He's very good long range too.
Yeah, I think because the team up is situational, and Luna is a very common ban as well. Um, I think Namor goes to A tier just because it's not something that you can just guarantee that you're going to get that extra squid, and that squid is a game changer. Has more health, I believe. Shoots faster, if I'm not mistaken.
Slows them.
It's broken for sure, but I put him comfortably at A. Then I have Penny. I don't know what my thought process was originally, but I have her in C tier. I just don't believe she's as good as any of the other tanks.
She's one of the few tanks I see on my team. I don't want to see her.
Yeah, she Penny that can be used properly is definitely great and very gimmicky. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Just not very.
It requires a lot. Like it requires a lot of skill. Most people don't have that.
And then you got to set up to be successful with her, which I think is just weird.
She's only good on defense.
We got Psylocke. I have. Oh, what do you have Psylocke at? Actually, you go first.
You could argue it either way. I'd put her at A, but if someone said she's S, I'd agree. Her ult is not as good as it used to be with the shield changes. Now it's doing damage to the people that are shielded. she's not able to kill squishies as easily, but she's a menace. She's stronger than Namor, I would say, but she's weaker than Hela and Magic.
Yeah, I had her in A tier as well. I thought you were gonna debate that she was S tier. So there you go. I had her in
I think you
A tier
could
as
though,
well.
yeah.
You could debate it for sure. I wouldn't be mad at that. Then we have the Punisher. I have the Punisher as a B tier character, hero, whatever you want to
Yeah, I
call it.
did too. He just he's an honest player. Like he everything about him, you know what he's gonna do. His escape options are not the best. They're not the worst. He's very much like Moon Knight, but he could shoot further, which kind of changes things for Moon Knight. Moon Knight's range is terrible. Good luck aiming. So I would agree. B tier it is. Sorry, Nas is recalculating.
Sorry.
Oh, you just sent me an
Um,
Instagram reel. That's crazy.
I did it. Um, I have Rocket Raccoon next. I have Rocket in C tier. B is also
I'm
acceptable.
B tier. Yeah,
Yeah, B is
I
also.
I don't think he's as bad as he used to be. Now that I understand him more and I use Bucky a lot more often, I see the value. I understand now.
Yeah, I
He
have him
does not
C
die.
tier. Normally, I think B tier is acceptable as well. I don't think any situational abilities are too much of a game changer because, again, it's too situational. So I don't hold that too much to a standard. But I think his res is big time, makes a big difference. I think an interesting combination. Not one that I'd be too comfortable with, but it'd just be an interesting combination to have, Star Lord or just the entire um, Guardians of the Galaxy is basically what I'm saying. I think that's a very interesting combination to have with a very huge potential of successful what do you call
It's
it
actually a good team.
team ups and stuff. So it'd be a really interesting team. But yeah, I'm okay with B tier. I don't have much argument left in me for that one. Then we have Scarlet Witch, who I uh,
I
could
teeter
see
back and forth on her.
up or down or right where I put her. I think either way is understandable and acceptable. But I have her originally at C.
Yeah, I'd say C, and I think you can argue B, but I think realistically she's C. I think the only reason she would be B is because she benefits Magneto, and I don't think that's enough reason to put her B.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue with her is like she is supposed to be easy to kill, but she's not, which is like the weirdest thing to fathom. She's supposed to be because she moves slow. Her little ghost thing that she does, you can still track her down. So it's like it's so interesting that she's harder to kill than she's supposed to be because her kit shouldn't be that hard to stop.
But
You
it's
know what I
actually
mean?
amazing. She throws
Yeah.
that one ability, and you get paralyzed, and then she disappears twice, and she's gone. You cannot find her.
Yeah, it's super weird, man. Super weird. And then we got Spider Man. I'm judging these based on their peak, so good players playing against good players who know what they're doing. And if everybody knows what they're doing and everybody is capable, I do believe our Spider Man is an A tier diver in this game.
I would say B, because assuming what you're saying, he cannot kill most supports because of their CC. Cloak can disappear. Invisible Woman could disappear. Luna has too much health. Loki can turn into his clones. He could ruin. Adam has his soul bond. He doesn't do enough damage unless he has a venom with him to put him higher. I would say on average B tier is where he realistically is. If you want to say A tier, I would assume that he has a Venom matchup, and I could say A. He's just he's he looks great. He looks really cool, but he just doesn't do the damage. His kit's not that great.
I think he is A tier because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you are able to do to stop him or to slow him down. His mobility is quite arguably the best mobility in the game. His ability to come into a situation and leave that situation in a split second is just outrageous. There's times where I'm getting hit by Spider Man and I don't even know that Spider Man was the one hitting me because when I turn around, he's already gone. And that to me does make a difference from a strategy point perspective. You don't have to get the kill. If you can get out of there and then re-enter that situation, that healer is starting to become very obsolete because they are consistently distracted, consistently incapable of keeping their team alive how they want to. And then that's going to force teammates to have to turn around and lose their focus. And from a strategy perspective, I do believe Spider Man is very difficult to handle, similar to Psylocke, better than Black Panther, just not as good as Magic
But
because
why
she
though?
just does so much
Black
damage.
Panther has higher health. He gets armor on his dives. He gets a reset on any of his dives. Why would you have Spider-Man over Black Panther? I I would be willing to move Black Panther up to A if you're gonna have Spider-Man up to A. I'm just
No,
confused why you think Spider-Man is better than Black Panther.
no, I don't think Black Panther's ability to get out of the situation is as good as Spider Man's, and that's what it comes down to. If Black Panther's not able to take you out, and he has to get away, he is much easier to chase down or to take out if necessary than Spider Man. So re-entering the fight is going to be harder for him than it is Spider Man, and that when you're a diver, that's your biggest value is your ability to be mobile and get and survive. And in comparison, I think Spider Man survives better than Black Panther does.
But it's offset though because Black Panther has the shield and more health. That's what I'm trying to get at. So they have similar mobility in the sense that they can get out in and out very quickly. One has more health and more shield,
Yeah, but
and then
I
one
think
has
I
more
think it's much
mobility.
harder to take down a Spider-Man. I think it's much harder to take down a Spider-Man that's diving on your team. And I see Spider-Mans have much less deaths. Good Spider-Mans. There's also a lot of bad Spider-Mans in this game, of course, and a lot of bad Black Panthers. But good Spider-Mans have much less deaths on their stat sheet than Black Panthers, from my experience.
Oh man! All right,
Then we have Squirrel Girl, who I do not think very highly of at all. What do you have Squirrel Girl at?
I think she's a lot like Moon Knight. She just builds ult very quickly for the other supports, and I think that's really annoying to deal with. I think if I have a Squirrel Girl at the end of the game, I can always look back and I can see the final hits are going to be very low compared to the amount of damage that she's doing. And I can go down and I can look at the other supports on the other team, and I can see that they have massive amounts of healing because they were able to keep themselves alive for 12 seconds at a time, just by support ulting.
What did you say? What tier?
C.
I also have her C. Nice. Now, Star Lord, I am on the fence about. I want you to go first too. I want to hear your perspective, and maybe it'll change my mind.
So I changed my mind because, like I said, we are most likely going to do another tier list, assuming matchups happen. If matchups happen, he's an S tier because of Mantis. Without that matchup, he's an A tier. He's very much like Psylocke to me, very in and out, very good at poking, get into the backlines really quick. You know, wasting some abilities from the supports, taking a few cooldowns, and then coming right back to the team, building up their ult. But actual KO ability, he doesn't really have that outside of his ult. So I would say he's an A tier. The other ones can legitimately just three hit you.
Um, I originally had him in S tier. I don't think his team up is the biggest game changer because it doesn't really change who he's able to be. Um, it's not like other team ups. I think other team ups change who you're able to be. I think for Mantis and for Star Lord, it doesn't change who you're able to be. It just gives you an additional life to go there. Not to mention, it you kind of can track them down and see where they're coming back, which is not always the best. But I don't think it changes their kit enough to say that it makes them better or worse. I think Star Lord has some of the best mobility in the game. His ability to counter almost any ultimate because of his little flip is outrageous. His ability to just stay alive and continue to shoot you and bring you down because of his what you call it, his little flip is outrageous as well. His way of attacking isn't like the others, so he's not really the type to have a combo because he's just shooting you directly. You can't really combo automatic weapon. You know what I mean? Like it's just shooting directly at you. So like he can literally melt you down in seconds, and that's even saying too much. Honestly, in a second or two, just by one flip and shooting you again, like. And by the time your team even turns around to help you, I just think I think S tier is reasonable, but A tier is also reasonable. I have a hard time believing that he's not S tier, but A tier is not a terrible idea either.
I think he's S tier with that team up. That team up changes how he plays a lot. He's able to be a lot more risky because now he can just turn the corner back to his team and he can revive. You're not you, as Star Lord. You shouldn't be going super far into the back lines without your cooldowns, without your flip, and without your. I don't know what that spin move is, but the one where he just kind of aims everywhere. You shouldn't be going to the back lines without that. But if you have that team up, you're able to now.
Yeah, but
You're allowed to be a lot more risky.
your cooldown, you should never go into a fight without it. But your cooldowns are so fast. You're gonna have them in a matter of seconds. Like by the time you're done shooting someone, you're gonna have your next flip available. You
But
can
that's what I'm
you can
saying. So now you could use your cooldowns, you could use all of them, stay in the fight and die, and now you could respawn, and your team should not be too far from you. You should not have been that far back to where you can't respawn.
yeah. I don't know. Me personally, I don't think it turns. I think he is capable of being S tier by himself, and that team up just gives him a bonus that makes things a lot easier for yourself. But I don't think it turns him S tier. I think he is fully capable of being S tier by himself. But A tier
Well, I
is
got to figure out, am
acceptable.
I going to give you this one or am I going to give you the next one? Because I think we're going to have a disagreement on the next one.
No, I'm fine with A tier. I don't care. I was just saying I think he is fully
Okay.
capable
Oh,
of
the
being
one
S
after
tier.
that.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with that too. Certain team ups make him S tier, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
and then we have Storm. I have Storm in S tier.
I think you can argue S or A. I just don't see her enough to say that she's um to S, but I think you can argue. She doesn't have the mobility necessarily. She is, you know, easier to get down at times, especially with bad players. But her ability to boost everybody else's damage, she makes another character which I think is god awful, like actually useful, which we'll talk about later in their team up. Um, and I mean, she just melt you. She's a flying hella. She's a flying hella.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But yeah, she is easy to take down, but like that is easier said than done. Um, she has a really good kit with her ability to boost her teammates. And those little lightning bolts, man, them things are pesky, bro. Because you don't even see them coming. She can be focusing one person in front of her and then accidentally kill the person behind her because the lightning bolts are activated. That shit to me is just unfair. It's like she don't even gotta look at you. If you get anywhere near her vicinity and she presses that damn circle, she's gonna light you on fire with the damn lightning bolts, and you're not even gonna
She's
see it
nice,
coming.
bro. She's nice.
It's crazy. And then she does piercing damage, so she can hit multiple people at once, which to me is such an unfair ability to have. But I have her S tier. I guess we can keep her there, right?
I'll keep her there. Yeah.
And then we have Thor, good old faithful. That is my main right there, my actual main account. He's taken me very far. I think once I learned how to use Thor effectively, he's really allowed me to rank up at a much faster rate. My win rate isn't the most phenomenal, but it is, just a little under 50%. And I think that's, good for an average non gamer like myself. Um, I personally believe that Thor is A tier. I really do.
I don't think that he's A tier. I think that you got really good at playing with him. I think if you actually look at his kit, he's a B tier tank, and this is specifically tank. When I look at a tank, I'm also not just looking at their ability to create space. I'm looking at their ability to protect the team. If you look at any other tank that's above him in the ranking, Groot with his walls is allowed able to wall off damage. Hulk can come back and he can shield his team. Strange and Magneto, they have their own shields. Thing, which we'll get to in a moment, he has that falling leap. They all have something that protects their team. Thor is only good as an off tank. If he is a solo tank, your team is usually going to be alone, and you're going to play very differently. I just don't think with what he has in his kit, I would put him as A tier. I think B tier strongly makes sense. I think he's the best of the B tier tanks that we're going to go over.
No, I think his kit is amazing. I think his kit is so amazing that one of his abilities is never used because his other abilities are so good. Like you never need to use it. Um, I think his buff
Which
for
one?
this season is outrageous. His ability to use his awaken mode far more consistently is great. I think he can play at the ground level and take anybody out. He can handle flyers if you don't have anybody who's willing to switch to do it. Um, he has the ability, he does have the ability to be used correctly and help his teammates out. The same way that you can bounce back with Thing to give somebody a damage reduction that doesn't last that long is the same difference between just dashing somebody away from your teammate that's getting dove on or whatever the case is, whatever's happening
But the
to
thing
them.
could also still do that too. The thing could just dive into them. The Hulk can exile them. Like Magneto can push them.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't know who I said. I was talking about the Thing.
But
He can dive
that's
into
an
them.
additional thing that they have on top of what I already said that they had. That's what I'm trying
And
to
what were
say.
you talking
All
about?
of that's I talked about them having the shield that they can give them or the wall. I'm saying that they also have the ability to push people back the same way that Thor can. So they have everything that Thor can defensively, and they have more.
Oh no, that's different. No, the Hulk can't push somebody back. Yeah, he just fights them. That's not the same thing that I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about
He can
literally.
exile them though.
I'm talking about literally moving you. Like he can move you out of the way, and it's the same difference as the little thing that the thing does. It's the same difference, um, and that's me using both of them. It's literally the same difference to me. Um, and his damage output is outrageous. And I mean, players like the Thing, Hulk, and Thor should not be used as solo tanks either. Like they're not the most effective if they're the only tank you have available because of how they play. They're too easy to focus and too easy to bring down when they're by themselves.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is looking at the tanks that you just named, looking at the four tanks without a shield that we've looked at so far, or three, sorry. I'm gonna add in the thing, so we'll make it four. All three of those are better than Thor at solo tanking. The Thing is better at solo tanking, Groot is better at solo tanking, and Hulk is better at solo tanking than Thor, without a doubt.
Yeah, Groot's different though.
Two of
Groot
them
has a
have the
shield.
same ability to create space.
Groot has a shield. That's different. I wasn't considering Groot, but um, yeah, I don't think either one of them is good enough to be a solo tank. I don't believe that at all. Not to set them aside. I really don't believe that.
No, no, none of them are good enough, but I'm saying they're better. I
That's
think
what I'm
that they're all
saying. I
better
don't think it's enough
than.
to set them aside. I don't believe so. I don't think in a situation the rest of your team has to be so damn good for you to be able to do that successfully. And it's the same difference as Thor. I can do it successfully if the rest of my team is really raw. If I gotta be one of the best players on the team, then we're not gonna have an easy time because Thor, Hulk, and the Thing they shouldn't be left out there by themselves. They're too big, too easy to hit, too easy to focus. So to me, it's the same difference.
Yeah, but
I really don't think they set themselves aside in that
but
regard.
Thor offers nothing to his team to help them survive. Is what I'm trying to say. That push is not a shield. That push is one person going away. If they're getting shot at, that push doesn't do anything. If they're getting shot at, a shield does help them. A damage reduction for the thing does help them.
It helps them, but the damage reduction from the Thing is not that big of a deal. Like it's more of an
But it
escape.
is a difference. Though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, to me, it's just not that big of a difference. It really is not. I think using them is a whole different ordeal than just watching them. I think to me, it's literally the same difference. I think the Hulk is better than the Thor pretty significantly. I don't think the Thing is better than Thor that significantly at all.
I think the Hulk, the Thing, and Groot are a tier above Thor.
No, I think they're better at the same tier. I think if we're looking at it like you were doing earlier at the beginning, where it's high or low, I think the Hulk, excuse me, and Groot are higher in that tier, closer to being able to be called S tier than the Thing and Thor. That's how I view it.
I don't think we're going to come to an agreement here, so I will. I'll let you put him A tier.
Beautiful.
I disagree heavily here, though.
Then we have Venom. Venom is maybe an A tier. I
I
don't
would
really know.
originally put Venom as B tier, but I think he does the same thing as Thor when it comes to creating space to me.
Uh, that's a little confusing, but I do have him in A tier, so no need to debate that. But I don't think they play the same at all. I think they're very different in how they play.
No, no. They do the same thing when it comes to creating space. They're pushing for your backlines and they're trying to make your support scatter. That's specifically when it comes to making space.
True. Well, I have him in A tier anyway. I think most tanks in the game are just some of the best. Supports and tanks are the best game play characters in the game. I would say more more commonly, basically, is what I'm saying. We have six more to go. We have Bucky. I have Bucky in S tier.
I think Bucky's the best DPS in the game right now.
You
You
said
have
that
a
about
diver.
Magic.
Bucky could beat a diver. No, I think he's better than Magic. I think Bucky's the only. I
Well,
did say that, but
you
originally
did.
Magic wasn't. We didn't go over Bucky yet, so I was talking in the moment. I think Bucky even beats out Magic.
I agree. That's why I didn't say anything because I know Bucky was all the way at the end of the list. Um, I do believe Bucky is the best DPS in the game. I 100% think. I think Bucky is a carrier. I think he can carry a lobby. I think his. I think it's phenomenal that he only gets 3 bullets and does so much. I think that is phenomenal. I don't know what they designed to make that work. I don't know how they made that function. But shout out to the developers because being able to create a character that can only shoot you 3 times and his kit makes it to where those 3 shots feels like he's shooting you 12 times. You know what I mean? Like it's remarkable.
Bro, a headshot. If I hit 2 headshots, they're dead.
His dash is one of the most versatile in the game. It could be used in so many different ways. It could be used just as a straight up dash, just to hit someone if you just need to get the damage off. It could be used to pull people away with his hook and get them further away. It can be used to dash out in a situation where you're in a losing battle. It could be used so many different ways that to me it's like one of the most versatile dashes in the game, probably second or third to Psylocke and possibly Magic, maybe. Um, but yeah, S tier. We don't have to debate that since we both agree. Then we got Wolverine, who is a very circumstantial guy. However, I do believe that circumstance is almost fitting in any possible match you're going to play. Would you not agree?
You literally there's one hero that I think Wolverine would not work on, and that's the thing. Wolverine does not look like he's a good DPS because he's very close distance and against supports and stuff, they're going to be able to get away very quickly. That's not his role though. He is going to shred your tank. Your tank, whatever tank you have that's not the thing, is just going to die to him. You have to ban him. He's that strong. Like for what he does, for what you want him to do, he's the best at it. He's an S tier.
Wolverine S tier? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Shit. I think highly
Think
of
about
him.
his role though.
It's possible. Not I haven't been A tier, but it's not needed to be debated. I would say. Um, then we have the Fantastic Four are all on this list back to back. The
They're
newest heroes in the game
all
for
over the
season
place.
1 and 1.5. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. I have him in B tier. What do you think?
I have him in D tier. I dread having a Reed on my team. And reads that you talk to in game, reads that you see posts online, reads that make videos. They say that character got nerfed. They say that the character is worse this season than it is before. I checked both of our last games that we played. Out of the last 50 games combined, we have only seen Reed 4 times in total. The Reed has only won 1 game out of those 4. Reed is not a good character. People do not know how to use him. His kit is not very friendly. His last ability is nice, but at the cooldowns that he has for his other abilities, I don't think it was as worth it. I just he looks great and he survives long, but he does not do a lot of damage. He does not get a lot of kills. He's worse than a tank. He's a bad pick unless you are very very good at him.
I mean, me personally, I like a good read. Personally, I'm not taking into consideration players that don't know how to use them because that's unfair to the character. I like a good read. I think he's very useful to have as a tank main. I think he's very useful to have on your team um, because he's a frontline guy. Because he's going to spread out his damage very commonly, which is very useful to have. I like a good read. I like his shield. His shield can definitely make a difference. His survivability is great because of his bonus health and his shield being able to suck in all that damage. Um, I like it. I like it a lot. Personally, I like a good read. I would petition to at least meet in the middle here and say C.
I'll meet in the middle, but I'm not meeting in the middle on one of the other ones then. So we got to figure out, are we meeting in the middle here or another one? Because I
Meeting in
feel
the middle.
strongly about all of them, all
Uh,
four.
I mean, I could tell you for sure we could put Johnny wherever the fuck you want to put him. I could care less. So that one I don't
All
care
right, I'll
about.
put Reed at C.
Sue and the Thing. We'll see when we get there. All right. Then we got Sue. I personally believe Sue has transformed himself into the third, if not second, best support in the game. Just depends on where you view Loki. I probably just say consensus is third. I genuinely do believe Sue is an S tier support.
I'd put her at S. Like I said earlier, her ability to disappear if she gets dove on, her ability to give other people her shield, that shock or pulse thing that she could throw out to do damage. Her ult is just non-dying, and her ult makes other people ults a lot more possible. For example, you throw up a Sue ult, Scarlet can now use her ult, which is crazy. You don't see that very often. She's good,
Yeah.
and her team up with all the other Fantastic Four makes her even better. And we do see the thing very often.
Yeah, I think her ultimate is the second best ultimate in the game. I don't really count Loki because like I don't know how to explain it. It's weird to put Loki on the
He
list.
could be any ult.
I feel like Loki shouldn't count on the list of ultimates. You know what I mean? Like because he doesn't have his own ultimate. It's like he's taking somebody else's. You know what I mean? So like it's difficult. So I believe that from all the strategists, I do believe that Sue has the second best ult in the game. I'm a super fan of Mantis and a super fan of Cloak and Dagger. Those are my go tos. But Sue has become my go to. I still haven't figured her out just yet. I really want to though. I want her to be my go-to support whenever I have to play support. I'm a tank main. I prefer to go that route regardless. But Sue's ultimate is phenomenal. You pop a Sue ultimate, Punisher is free to ult and fuck up the entire field. You know, Scarlet Witch is free to ult and fuck up the entire field. It goes all the way up to the ceiling, doesn't it? So flyers
Yeah,
are free to
you
ult
cannot
and do
see
their.
it.
So flyers are free to. Iron Man is free to step in there and ult, and you can't kill him unless everybody focuses him. What's the likelihood you have six people that can hit him? You know what I mean? It's like it's the second best ult, and honestly, Luna's is only great because it lasts for fucking ever, is what it seems like. She's dancing on that damn platform for what it feels like the rest of the damn team fight somehow. Um, but Sue has the second best strategist ult, and I'm really just adding more to what you already said. And
She also
uh,
does a lot of damage.
her push literally changes games, bro. I've watched and I've done it. I have pushed a team back into a portal and won the game. I have pushed a Strange away from my team and saved our team from getting ulted by him and completely changing the game. Like
You can push people off the map too.
push people off the map. It's like you can bring people in who are
You can push
escaping.
Wolverine out of a carry.
Bro, it's phenomenal. You can bring people in, very similar to like Spider Man. I've seen that tech being used more frequently now, where he pulls people in instead of pulling himself to them. You can pull people in just like Bucky pulls them in, keep them engaged in the fight, make sure they can't escape. And it does damage, which is crazy. And not only does it fuck you up, but it also does a little bit of damage just to increase the ability of your team to kill him. It's like she
Also,
is second or third best support in the game.
real quick, one other thing about her that people don't realize: Sue's healing numbers look really low, but you don't understand that if she throws a shield on you, that's not healing; that's damage blocked. So her healing numbers are ridiculous. She's constantly healing people. She's constantly doing something for everybody. She's strong. She's very very strong.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. Then we got the Thing and Johnny, who were added season 1.5. I think extremely highly of the Thing. I
Me
personally
too.
would not put him in S tier. However, to be a brand new tank and to be very easily an A tier with some debates available there for S tier, I just don't think I just don't think he's good enough. You know, it's like the gap between him and Magneto and Strange is pretty large. You know what I mean? It's like what Magneto and Strange can do is just it's game altering. Um, I don't
The
know if the
gap comes
thing.
down to them having shields and him not.
Yeah, I don't think the thing is game altering, but he is phenomenal. I think he plays very similar to Hulk. He's not as good, but he plays very similar to Hulk. I think he has a lot of Thor esque abilities as well, with his brawling ability, his ability to rip through those shields so easily, and dislocate people with his own way of dashing through them. I think he's phenomenal. I have him in A tier. I don't know if I'm willing to debate S tier though. I think A tier is where I'd solidly stay.
Yeah, I think he's in that second tier of really good tanks, and I would say it would go probably Hulk, Groot, and then Thing for me. And I think he's really good. I think there's an argument that you could probably put him and Hulk up into S tier. I just don't see it because I played Moon Knight and I'm able to like melt them all the time, and they're just like free alt charge for me. I don't like having them on my team either too much, but they are very good. Their kit offers a lot.
Yeah, they are really good, and it is true. They are free all charge. They're just such big bodies, and they're constantly in the fight. They're not really anywhere else. So like they're just easy to hit, very hard to miss. To be honest, Punisher just ult charges. Moon Knight, Bucky, Star Lord. They just ult charge with them, and even though they're very good, that is the downside of having them. Um, I would have him at A tier, yeah. So I think we could agree. You said A tier, right?
Yeah, he's good though.
And then Johnny, I like a good Johnny. He's the last one on our list. I like a good Johnny personally. I think he can bring a lot to the table. It's just a little too gimmicky. It's a little too gimmicky. I petition for a C tier, and I can see it lower. I can see it, so I'm cool with either way.
I think he's the worst character in the game right now.
Sheesh. All right.
Everything that he does, the other two flyers do better. You want someone that can control space, someone that's just gonna shoot from far away and hope to just hit groups of people. You have Iron Man for that. His flame ability that he could throw on the ground, the little four corners, I see that all the time. I've never stepped in that. I don't think I've ever stepped in that once. And I know that like there's pro players that are really good at it, but even in pro players, like people there's a reason Johnny does not get played that much. And it's because Johnny's not good. Um his shotgun ability, I don't think was a good idea. I don't think that they should have picked that. I think it should have been, closer to Storm, where maybe it's like projectile based, or it has some like sort of burn ability or something. He's slow. He's somehow slower than Iron Man, which I didn't even think was possible. His hitbox is bigger than Iron Man's too, which is even worse. He's just not good.
Yeah,
I hate having him.
Yeah, I think making him have like a shotgun type of attack, primary attack, was a bad decision. Um, I like a good Johnny. I do believe Johnny is meant to be played closer up from an offensive perspective, but that it's just not easy. It's easier said than done because he's just not mobile enough. He's just an easy target. He does have a lot of downside. I like a good Johnny from a sense of if the other team's not good, a good Johnny can definitely make a difference. All that extra damage that he's able to do can be very helpful. So I like a good Johnny. I would like to put him in C tier, but I fully understand why he has yet to flourish and people see him as a D tier character. So I guess
Is there
that's it.
any changes we want to make? Any concessions that you're willing to make before we close this out?
I don't
Like,
think
are we
highly
willing to
of.
put Spider-Man at B?
I don't think highly of Jeff. If you put Jeff at D, I'll put Spider Man at B right now. No hesitation.
If we drop down Thor to B, I'll also drop down Jeff because I think that's fair.
No, it's Spider Man or nothing.
Oh, then ah, we'll have to live with this one.
All right, then I guess I don't like Jeff. I really don't, but it's okay. This is our tier list, ladies and gentlemen. Take a screenshot. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Um, we appreciate y'all for tuning in this far and watching us through this journey. It definitely took longer than we expected it to, but typically everything does because we like to debate, and me and Tyler don't see eye to eye very commonly. So um, we got our PSN right there on the screen for y'all, man. Hoop Talk Nas and Hoop Talk Tyler, respectively. Make sure you hit us up on PSN. Make sure you hit us up on social media if you ever have anything that you want us to create content about, whether it's a game, whether it's a specific way to play the game, whatever you can think of, man. Hit us up in the comment section. Hit us up in the DMs. Hit us up wherever you want. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that comment section if you're an old fan here supporting. We love it. We appreciate it. That's all we got for y'all. Hoop Talk out.